fundamental elements, indeed will destroy that irreversibly. As a matter of fact, when I say irreversibly, that's where it comes from, because particularly in chemical weapons, one can destroy the chemical weapon. Now, what would that be? It would be a thing called VX or GB or sarin, or it might be mustard gas, or things of that, dreadful things of that sort. The things that we wish now we could disinvent, but we can't. And it is important when they're destroyed that there can't be any parts, there can't be any Humpty Dumpty that can possibly be put back together, even though it might be less troublesome. As a matter of fact, my pals in the Army, I'm going to get in trouble with them, but they'll say the good news is the incineration will destroy the lethal materials, and as a result will produce hazardous materials. Now, that to some might look like progress, but we can that's for another time.
Let me ask you this. Dr. Yunus, who invented the Grameen Bank, and which has been running for 25 years and making money, and he built it on a different premise than the banking system, which is that he built it based on trust and based on the concept of credit as a human right, and that payback has nothing to do with collateral. So in my interview with him back in December, I had asked him about the tremendous resistance because he put together a global systemic solution in the area of the credit world, and it works. And he shared about the tremendous types of resistance I am sure you also are encountering, have encountered, and will encounter great resistance, in part due to, things have always been done a particular way. We've always incinerated, or we've always dumped waste, at point A or point B. But also that there is geopolitics involved, and there are, let's say, pre-existing contracts from one company or one big contract to lug X amount of waste from point A to point B on certain days at certain times in certain places. And how do you interface with that in the face of what you have right now? How are you dealing with that, or how do you plan to deal with that?
You hit the nail right on the head, or the two nails on the head. And that is, we would be considered, as would the gentleman you just told me about, in marketing parlance, the disruptive technology. And the disruptive technology disrupts the sustaining technology. It's MBA talk, but it means that the new technologies often are terribly upsetting to the old technologies, and by that, the old technologies that we're facing, we're elevating, we're being too generous to call incineration and dumping stuff in a hole in the ground a technology. But in the United States, there are many places that still use those two techniques, and by and large, when we talk to those folks, they know it's not quite right, but after all, they don't want to have to make the change yet. On the other hand, there are many, many communities around the world, and many of which are so-called third world countries who have not made a commitment into dumps and or have no capability at all, even incineration, and we have a much easier time there.
I just want to say this to you, that we're gonna go to a commercial in about 2 minutes, but I want to tell you that as far as I'm concerned, somebody who's been working on a global systemic solution for 14 years myself on a completely separate level, I know for a fact that those agencies, institutions, organizations, and groups of people that are invested in, let's say, earlier ways and means or earlier technologies or methods that are not collectively at the highest level contributing, or that they are detracting from the environment, the well-being of humanity, they have always an opportunity to be part of the new and next generation solution. And while the introduction of, let's say, something that you've already put into being that's now working and available, let's say already in the countries of Japan, Poland, Rome, the Department of Energy, other people and agencies and groups have an opportunity. The window is now to get on board with what's already here, because what's here isn't going away. It's like we had, there was a a book called The Marketing Imagination, and in it they were talking to the railroads at the time when other transportation aspects were needed, and they said, "What business are you in?" And they said, "We're in the railroad business." And they were so in the railroad business that when other methods of transportation became available and they had an opportunity to get involved, they couldn't see it because it was like the hammer to the nail. Yeah. The hammer only saw the nail. But in fact, had they viewed themselves, understood themselves in a larger context, they would have been ready and ripe to be on board with other forms of transportation. And with that said, Joe Longo, please stand by, because we are going to go to a commercial and bring on the line one of the owners of the Whole Life Pages. Whole Life Pages has been 7 years in business, is a directory and publication that is distributed into 3 states, Texas, Colorado, and Arizona. They produce approximately 150,000 directories. They have a debt-free company, a staff of 20 people, and we're bringing Carmen Lamarco on today to It's Rainmaking Time. Good morning.
Good morning, Kim.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I understand you and your husband are looking for a $150,000 business loan to grow your business to a totally different level. And, you know, after what I said about Dr. Muhammad Yunus and how he built this business, it's obvious now that the need for collateral, if people pay attention, should not be a precursor for loaning or investing money, but it's a mindset. But there are many people in many states around America who do have $150,000 that they want to invest and would like to get involved in an already existing concern like yours. And I'd like you to share a little bit about your background with the audiences who are listening.
Well, I've personally been in the directory, advertising, and publishing industry for nearly 20 years. As a publisher for about 12. I previously published Yellow Pages directories, the actual at-your-door types of phone books, in a market in Texas for 5 years, and published 5 directories each year. Moved to Arizona and began with a dear friend the process of filling a need where there was no resource to help people find natural, holistic, and alternative resources because of his personal need. Having been diagnosed with cancer, there was nothing available, and the idea came about to publish a phone book because there was so many resources here in Arizona at the time, and we had no way of finding them. So we spent our entire year digging up and looking for, by referral primarily, the best of the best in any type of natural alternative resource. And we have now been successfully publishing Whole Life Pages in Arizona for 7 years, and we've become the who's who and what's what. And there are so many markets out there that have available in their areas fantastic practitioners and these kinds of resources, and they have no product, no publication that puts it all into their hands. We're the only directory of its kind in the country, and we've become quite a model. We get calls regularly from other markets. Can you please come here and publish your directory? When are you going to be in this state? When are you going to be in this state? So we are currently at a point where we're doing very, very well with our 3 directories in our 3 markets, and we're actually, if you combine all 3 markets, we're publishing nearly 200,000 copies.
Wow.
Of our directories, and they're free. We don't sell them. We want people to have access to these resources so they can change their lives.
Carmen, how do people get a hold of you who are interested?
We have a toll-free number, which is 877-234-5144. There is a PIN number. It asks for a PIN number or access code, which is 6519. But they can also drop me an email.
How do they reach you on the internet?
They can go to wholelifepages.com, WHOLELIFE pages, PAGES.com, and find our internet edition of Whole Life Pages there as well.
Well, I want to thank you for being on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, please look at wholelifepages.com, give Carmen a call, and get involved in the high growth of their business and take it throughout the United States. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuning in to It's Rainmaking Time. We are here live with Joe Longo, the founder of the Startech Environmental Corporation, who is rocking the planet with their new waste elimination and conversion technology that can get rid of pretty much any type of toxic chemicals waste on the planet, bar